Hello everybody, this is going to be a short video on the Norfolk Broads in a day boat. I chose Richardson's because they were the only ones that bothered to answer the phone to deal with some questions that I had. And the boats are very good. They are clean, with a heater, closed top if you wanted it, open top if you didn't, and it ran well. I rented the boat for 7 hours, and I've got about 7 hours of videoing, so rather than bore you, I shall just cut out all the boring bits and show you as many of the boats that I can and some of the fine properties, many of which are priced well over £1 million. They have their own little harbours, and it's a wonderful, wonderful experience, and I'd highly recommend it to anybody. In our 7 hours, we did from just outside Wroxham to just south of Ludham, around about 25 miles round journey. And it's not all built up and surrounded by fancy houses. This is a nature reserve here, and you pass a lot of the marshes, and it's a really enjoyable trip.
Well, here he is. It's been a long time coming. He's been waiting patiently for this moment for weeks and weeks. And finally, he is at the helm of a vessel. Not seagoing this time, Norfolk Broad going.
And the boat has got an ordinary steering wheel, no spokes.
No, look at that.
No spokes.
No spokes.
And my 3 passengers seem to be enjoying it. There's Luna, Mandy and Tilly. There are speed limits enforced by a police boat. Well, we didn't see the police boat, but I know there is one. And it ranges between 4 and 6 miles an hour, which is ample. And you can enjoy it. Well, Horning is the little village I fell in love with it, and that's where the Southern Comfort leaves from, the boat that I travelled on last year. And it's a beautiful, beautiful little spot. Anybody that goes to the Broads must go and visit Horning. The cygnets are growing, and next year there will be beautiful swans. Meanwhile, a heron awaits his dinner. There are boats of all sizes available for hiring, small ones like we've got, medium-sized ones like that, or you could have a large one like this. When you first look at the prices, they're quite expensive, but if there's a group of you and you're sharing, it's not too bad at all. There are also some beautiful sailing boats, and you can actually rent some of them. Now, most people know that power gives way to sail, but this still confuses a lot of the hire boat people as they see a sailing boat zigzagging in front of them. And I did see one really, really naughty thing. A sailing boat, and I could see water coming out of his exhaust pipe. And as soon as a sailing boat starts its engine, it's no longer a sailing boat. It's under power, but this chap was still demanding right away. I should add, it wasn't this particular boat. That's what I call a proper boat. The dogs needed a pee, and so did I. So we moored up here, and they went and did their thing. And after the comfort stop, I staggered back on board. Once you get away from the built-up areas, there are plenty of places to moor, and there are some special little harbours provided as well with free mooring. It's very good. Well, we turned left and went up to a place just south of Ludham, and there was a big shop, and I went in there, bought some supplies for lunch, and we stopped and had sandwiches and some other goodies. There's also a really nice looking antique shop there, Bolan and Bunting. They got some interesting stuff. We also witnessed a hire boat having a bit of trouble trying to turn around. Oh, it's fun to watch. But then it was time for us to start heading back and make sure we didn't overrun our 7 hours. So off we headed. Following this hire boat down some rather narrow channels. But with all boats sticking on the right side and rubbing the reeds, we went past no trouble at all. But it does appear that the little bay where the big shop is very popular. And Mandy took a turn at the wheel as well. I think she enjoyed that. Yes, looks like she did. Then I saw this, a cross in the middle of nowhere. Why was it there? Well, it was because of this, the remains of a medieval monastery known as St. Benet's. And there's a windmill in the middle of the door, and the cross is where the high altar used to be from the old monastery. And when they built the windmill, they made use of the foundations of the old monastery. And it's certainly an unmissable landmark. And there are signs to make sure you don't get lost. And up there is the River Ant. And who should we meet coming the other way? Southern Comfort, the boat that I'd been on. I keep mentioning that, don't I? But yes, it was a lovely ride, that was. And he was squashing this little hire boat in. The little hire boat had lost its right of way and should have slowed down. He got trapped in there a bit. Then I discovered we got another passenger, a dragonfly. I managed to get it out without harming it. And we came upon another example of a broad sailing boat, gaff rigged. Beautiful lines. Well, we were making good time, so we stopped at the Ferry Inn to have a little light refreshment. I had a half a pale ale, and Mandy had the same, sitting in the boat. And as you can see, it's a popular watering point, and they ask you to moor stern to, fit in as many boats as possible. And there was plenty to watch and see whilst we downed our half pints. It was an enjoyable little stop. And a very tasty half pint too. But then it was time to continue our journey back to Wroxham, and we made it with about 10 or 15 minutes to spare. And we saw another of the big cruise boats, party boats, or sightseeing cruise boats. Then, having given our boat back to Richardson's, we took a little walk into Wroxham, stood on the bridge, watched the boats for a while. And that was a good day on the boat, and now back to the campsite. So a really good day. Well, thanks for watching, and please come back and see where we ended up the following night, at an airfield with a bit of stunt flying.